Regional rural banks are local-level banking organizations operating in different states of India. They have been created with a view to serve primarily the rural areas of India with basic banking and financial services. However, RRBs may have branches set up for urban operations and their area of operation may include urban areas too. Functions. The main purpose of RRBs is to mobilize financial resources from rural/semi-urban areas and grant loans and advances mostly to small and marginal farmers, agricultural laborers and rural artisans. The area of operation of RRBs is limited to the area as notified by Government of India covering one or more districts in the state. RRBs also perform a variety of different functions. RRBs perform various functions in following heads: €1 providing banking facilities to rural and semi-urban areas. Carrying out government operations like disbursement of wages of MNREGA workers, distribution of pensions etc. €1 providing para-banking facilities like locker facilities, debit and credit cards. History. Regional rural banks were established under the provisions of an ordinance passed on September 26, 1975 and the RRB Act 1976 to provide sufficient banking and credit facility for agriculture and other rural sectors. These were set up on the recommendations of the Narasimhan Working Group during the tenure of Indira Gandhi's government with a view to include rural areas into economic mainstream. Since that time about 70% of the Indian population was of rural orientation. The development process of RRB started on October 2, 1975 with the forming the first RRB, the Pratama Bank. Also on October 2, 1976 5 regional rural banks were set up and with a total authorized capital of Rs 100 crore which later augmented to 500 crore. The regional rural bank were owned by the central government, the state government and the sponsor bank. There were 5 commercial banks: Punjab National Bank, State Bank of India, Syndicate Bank, United Bank of India and United Commercial Bank, which sponsored the regional rural banks, who held shares in the ratios as follows: central government 50%, state government 15% and sponsor banks 35%. Earlier, Reserve Bank of India had laid down ceilings on the rate of interest to be charged by these RRBs. However, from August 1996 the RRBs have been granted freedom to fix rates of interest, which is usually in the range of 14 to 18% for advances. Recapitalization of regional rural banks. Subsequent to review of the financial status of RRBs by the Union Finance Minister in August 2009, it was felt that a large number of RRBs had a low capital-to-risk-weighted assets ratio. A committee was therefore constituted in September 2009 under the chairmanship of K.C. Chakrabarti, Deputy Governor, RBI, to analyze the financials of the RRBs and to suggest measures including recapitalization to bring the CRAR of RRBs to at least 9% in a sustainable manner by 2012. The committee submitted its report in May 2010. The following points were recommended by the committee: RRBs to have CRAR of at least 7% as on March 31, 2011 and at least 9% from March 31, 2012 onwards. Recapitalization requirement of Rs 2,200.00 crore for 40 of the 82 RRBs. This amount is to be released in a unregistered trademark to installments in 2010-11 and 2011-12. The remaining 42 RRBs will not require any capital and will be able to maintain CRAR of at least 9% if on 31 St March 2012 and thereafter on their own. A fund of Rs 100 crore to be set up for training and capacity building of the RRB staff. The Government of India recently approved the recapitalization of regional rural banks to improve their capital-to-risk-weighted assets ratio CRAR, in the following manner: share of central government, that is Rs 100 crore, will be released as per provisions made by the Department of Expenditure in 2010-11 and 2011-12. However, release of Government of India share will be contingent on proper alternate release of state government and sponsor bank share. A capacity building fund with a corpus of Rs 100 crore to be set up by central government with NABARD for training and capacity building of the RRB staff in the institution of NABARD and other reputed institutions. The functioning of the fund will be periodically reviewed by the central government. An action plan will be prepared by NABARD in this regard and sent to government for approval. Additional amount of Rs 700 crore is contingency fund to meet the requirement of the weaker RBs, particularly those in the northeastern and eastern region. The necessary provision will be made in the budget as and when the need arises. Organizational structure. The organizational structure for RRBs varies from branch to branch and depends upon the nature and size of business done by the branch. The head office of an RRB normally had 3 to 7 departments. The following is the decision-making hierarchy of officials in a regional rural bank. Board of Directors, Chairman and Managing Director, General Manager, Chief Manager, Regional Managers, Senior Manager, Manager Officer/Assistant Manager, Assistants. Amalgamation. Currently, RRBs are going through a process of amalgamation and consolidation. 25 RRBs have been amalgamated in January 2013 into 10 RRBs. This counts 67 RRBs till first week of June 2013. On March 31, 2006, there were 133 RRBs covering 525 districts with a network of 14,494 branches. RRBs were originally conceived as low-cost institutions having a rural ethos, local feel and pro-poor focus. However, within a very short time, most banks were making losses. The original assumptions as to the low-cost nature of these institutions were belied. This may be again amalgamated in near future. At present there are 56 RRBs in India. Legal existence and protection. RRBs are recognized by the law and they have legal significance. The Regional Rural Banks Act, 1976 Act No. 21 of 1976, February 9, 1976. Reads, for the incorporation, regulation and winding up of regional rural banks with a view to developing the rural economy by providing, for the purpose of development of agriculture, trade, commerce, industry and other productive activities in the rural areas, credit and other facilities, particularly to the small and marginal farmers, agricultural laborers, artisans and small entrepreneurs, and for matters connected therewith and incidental thereto. RRBs are therefore created with a view to develop rural economy. List of regional rural banks. References. Reserve Bank of India, http www.rbi.org. In About Us display ASPX. PG equals Regional Rural Banks HTM, NABARD website http www.nabard.org. Report Financial Chap BPDF, Optgyan http optgyan.com/ regional-rural-banks-conception-present-scenario #regional_rural_banks_conception_brief_history_present_scenario-1 NABARD Departments http www.nabard.org. RRBS ASP Legal existence of RBI http India Code Nick in Full Act 1 ASP TFNM equals 197,621, Organizational Structure and Human Resource Management in RRBs, http www.nabard.org. RRB Chap percent 205 PDF, Indian K Noon Orgate 57753, Speech from Finance Minister of India.